Forget trying to land massive deals up front. The real money in AI compounds over time. What your focus should be is in the first 3 months, send 10,000 cold emails every single month and test trial offers that are between $1,000 and $5,000. And then in months 3 to 6, deliver insane value for these clients with these pilot projects and build trust, and then expand the scope. And then over time, you will get into retainers once you've built that trust and the relationship with that client. I learned this after personally selling over $100,000 in AI infrastructure in just the past 12 months, but only after getting rejected on at least 100 sales calls, trying to pitch big amounts up front and then hearing crickets. So here's what actually works. Month 6 and beyond, you will deploy comprehensive AI infrastructure as their strategic partner. This isn't about one big sale, it's about methodically embedding yourself into their business and into their operation. While other AI agencies burn out pitching $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 projects to strangers that just continually say no, if you're patient, you can build multiple $50,000 LTV relationships with clients because you understand the key. It's that strangers there's a lot of risk in paying large amounts up front. So it needs to be a value ladder. You need to start with a small trial project and ratchet up over time as you build trust. Each client project and client journey follows the same arc. Small project, then you become their trusted advisor, then you become their strategist and their infrastructure architect, building multiple different AI systems depending on the month by month needs of that business. And then if you deliver insane value on all those things, you become so embedded in their business and so indispensable, they become a fractional chief AI officer. The infrastructure isn't the product. The AI agents, the AI tools, the AI workflows, the N8N systems are not the product. The relationship and the strategy and the overall roadmap is. And today I'm going to reveal how to build these AI systems, these AI roadmaps, and build these client relationships so that you become integral to the success of your clients and become irreplaceable. So let's dive into this. The essence of this system is that you want to get out of this land of trying to sell tools and competing on $500 per month projects. You want to focus on high value systems with client experiences, client dashboards, infrastructure. And by infrastructure, I mean multiple different systems working simultaneously to systematically achieve higher ROI for your client. And so the entire roadmap, I want to focus on the roadmap today and show you how to actually do this in terms of the 1 to 6 plus month roadmap. And then once you're on the sales call, I want to show you the exact process for how you actually close these deals. So let's dive right into it. Rather than saying, I build agents or automations or workflows, you say, I will help you scale to 10 million ARR with a systematic ecology of AI systems that will work and that will port into your business, and I will train your team. I will help get your team integrated into these systems. This is something a lot of people miss. They just say, hey, I'm just going to give you the system. Here it is. But the actual training, the onboarding, the helping their team members understand it is just as much of a value add as the system itself. And so here is the roadmap. You need to reach out to strangers if you want to get clients. That's just the reality of it. And so in month 1, you set up your cold email infrastructure. You focus on creating offers, offer creation being 90% of the work. In my community, I've talked with hundreds of different business owners, and the one problem that everyone faces is they don't know how to set up the email infrastructure. They don't know how to create the offers. They don't know how to write emails, email copywriting, email psychology, lead gen systems. I guess that's more than one problem. But what I'm trying to hit home here is that the bottleneck for 99% of people is not learning N8N. The bottleneck is learning how to create really compelling offers, how to understand the psychology of value ladders, of influence, of persuasion, of copywriting, of sales. And then learning AI is actually only about 10% of the work. And 90% of the work is just what business has always been about. How do you get in front of people? How do you have an offer that's so compelling they feel stupid saying no? How do you deliver that offer and have a solid and good client experience, which I'll go into in terms of the infrastructure, the dashboards, that sort of thing. And then how do you scale that up over time and run that business, right? And so ultimately, if you're smart about it, you should not be spending pretty much any of your time focused on learning N8N, because eventually, it's a race. N8N is a race to the bottom. Let's just be real here. If you go to Upwork, I posted a job a couple weeks back, 50 applicants in 3 hours. They're all trying to pitch me for $10 an hour to $15 an hour to build out end-to-end systems. This is not where you're going to win. Where you're going to win is understanding business infrastructure, business strategy, implementing these frameworks and processes and roadmaps that I'm about to show you. And then as you get in clients that are paying you $3-5 grand a month, you can hire as many end-to-end no-code people as you want that are obsessed with technical implementation, and you can be the strategist. So how you do this is you create cold email campaigns, you understand how to write an offer and write the emails to package that offer inside of the email with a high quality free value up front, a lead magnet up front. And then you're getting on sales calls with these people. And then in months 2 to 3, you're getting a bunch of these trial projects. You're doing weekly calls with them. You're practicing, maybe the first couple clients, maybe they churn, because this is still new to you, but you get 2, 3, 4 clients, you practice getting better at strategy, doing these weekly calls, you embody that strategist, that consultant, you learn how to build trust, how to manage a client relationship. This is new to a lot of people. And so, don't try to get rich in the next 30 to 60 days. The promise here is that in 12 months, you can have a hyper sustainable business with high profit margins because, it's not that hard to add insane levels of value with AI. But it is hard to get people, to educate people and to educate prospects on that value to help them understand it, and for them to get over their skepticisms and objections about implementing AI and their fears about what if AI goes wrong. There's a trust building process that needs to happen before you hit those high ticket monthly retainers. And that's why I talk about in the community in the course with all the people that I'm walking through this process with, is that you want to build a sustainable, growable business. You don't want to build a cash machine in the next 30 days because that's not sustainable. And then you'll be back where you started 6 months from now. You want it to be so that in 6 months' time, you have a really solid amount of revenue coming in. You're getting retainers. You're understanding how to work with clients, how to get clients. You understand how to write cold emails, how to do sales calls, etc. So with that being said, let's go into the sales call component. So you identify who is your prospect, who is your target market. You can use different AI prompts for this, like plug an AI prompt into Claude and then ask it to help you with problem ideation, solution discovery, etc. Then you do the initial outreach, you write the sales campaigns, you do the discovery audit call. You basically tell them, hey, I'm going to give you a free AI audit where I'm going to show you all the different places that you can achieve high ROI with AI in your business. And you're already positioning yourself from day one as the strategist and the consultant. You say, hey, you get on a call with them, tell me about your business. Cool. Oh, that thing you said, tell me more about that. And so when you said that, did you actually mean that the biggest challenge is this? Okay, cool. What would it look like for that to be removed? How much revenue would that unlock? Cool. Awesome. And then they're like, okay, what do you offer? Yeah, we actually offer a comprehensive suite of AI systems, and I have an entire AI team working with me to build out custom systems for every client. And basically, for these specific problems that you're facing, we would, go and build a solution that would unlock leverage for you and ROI in that specific part of your business. We actually offer a low-cost trial project to get things started because we know how powerful and how valuable our service is. You want to get started? Awesome. You do? Sweet. So I just sent over the proposal, and you have a proposal generation system internally, of course, that just generates the proposals based on the sales call transcripts. Hey, I'm going to send over the proposal in the next, hour or two. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. And we can dive into it. And let's set another time on the calendar. Does, 3 days from now at 10 a.m., Friday work for you? Awesome. Let's put it on the calendar. Boom. All right. I sent you the invite. And you always want to schedule the next call before the previous call ends. Otherwise, your chance of closing is going to go way down. So you send them that information, etc. And then on that second call, you review the proposal, you review the contract, and then you get them in the door, and then they sign. And then that's when you start working either yourself at the beginning and then with a team to say hey, all right, what sort of dashboard can we give them to show them the value? What are the N8N agents and workflows that we're going to build on the back end? What is the different SOPs and documentation we want to give to this client? And what is the overall process to deliver the most insane amount of value as we can? And then you think through the processes, you think through the SOPs of, okay, what emails am I going to send? You don't want it to be too templatized, but you want to say in order to create and reverse engineer a white glove, high quality client experience, what would that entail? Well, we should probably do This is called inversion thinking. Rather than thinking, how do I succeed and make a bunch of money? Think, how do I not fail? In terms of like, how do I create a high quality client experience? What would a bad client experience look like? Well, I'd probably never send them an email. They'd probably feel like I don't care about them. I probably wouldn't deliver them great results, etc., etc. What would a high quality client experience feel like? Well, or what would it look like to at least not fail at that? Well, I'd probably send them at least one email per week with updates on the system. I would probably be really speedy with having an onboarding call with them so that they're getting a quick win really fast. I would probably figure out with my team how we can unlock and deliver the highest value within the first week. And then after that, I would continue to reach out to them once per week with updates. I would have a call with them, every week, every other week. And we would essentially work with them to get the results until they get the results that they want. Cool, there you have the process. Now go write the emails, go create those SOPs and document all those things, and you're off to the races, right? And so at the end of the day, here's the truth about implementation. Any developer, there's millions of people now that can build end-to-end workflows, and now with, you could just create a prompt in Claude and have it generate the workflow for you. It's not that hard to develop workflows, right? ChatGPT can write the workflows, Claude can. Templates are everywhere. In our community, AI Agent University, we have 400 templates, right? So it's like these templates are not anything crazy. Like inside of here, you can see that we have all these different templates. We have summarized YouTube videos from transcripts. We just have sales. We have a couple operations. We have a couple dozen onboarding, customer support. Like you can get these templates anywhere that you want. It's not like you can't just sell an easy implementation. The tools are commoditized, right? So we're in a race to the bottom where everyone is getting faster and better at making end-to-end systems. And so you either have two choices. You can compete on low ticket offers where you're just going to become easily replaceable because you're just trying to build end-to-end systems for people, or you can compete on vision, on strategy, on high ticket, high touch client relationships where you become an indispensable part of their business. And that is where the real compound growth happens. And I hope it's obvious which path to choose here. And what you do is you have to understand business. So maybe you have to go read a couple business books. I highly recommend The Goal by Eli Goldratt. This is if you've watched any of my videos, you know how obsessed I am with theory of constraints. This is kind of like a fiction story that depicts theory of constraints. It's one of the core books that Eli Goldratt wrote that he's most famous for. And so this is the founder of theory of constraints. So it's basically a fictional story of this character that owns a company, and they're trying to understand how to unlock more revenue for their business, and they're figuring out what the constraints are. So I'd recommend that book. And there's plenty of other books. Alex Hormozi's 100 Million Leads and Offers is a good place to start as well. But just do research. Use Claude Deep Research or Perplexity to start researching how does business work, what are the different business strategies, what are the different ways to iterate and prove value, how do I identify constraints, and then start figuring out, okay, now given all these principles, what would the most effective AI roadmap look like? What would it look like to create the highest degree of value and transformation for a client? How would I measure that impact? And you're just going through this loop where as you understand a business model better and better, you're able to become a better consultant, a better client relationship manager. The perceived value, it's all about perceived value. And when you have a high touch service with high perceived value, you're going to make a lot of money and you're going to have a really high LTV. And so just don't sell AI agents, guys. It's just not worth it. Now, not to be contradictory, but you can sell them, but don't make that the product. The AI agents and the AI systems and the end-to-end workflows, those will help you deliver value. But the idea is not that you're putting those front and center as, hey guys, I want to sell you an end-to-end agent. What you're actually doing is saying, no, I'm going to sell you this solution and this outcome. And oh yeah, by the way, we're building agents for you and workflows on the back end. But because we're getting you this outcome, that's really what this entire story is about. And the more that you do this is what your growth curve is going to look like. At the beginning, you're like, oh, I can just sell AI agents, right? And then you're like, oh, I should sell workflows and the 100 node AI systems with all of these things. Then the more you go through this client hell of realizing that they don't actually want that, you get clarity and simplicity on the other side of complexity, where you can say, oh, they actually want the really simple solution that gets them results, but there's going to be a lot of complexity. There's a lot of stuff happening in chords working their magic underneath the hood. But you don't actually show that to them, and you create this complex offer, and you understand how much value some of these agents and systems can create for clients. And then you realize that you shouldn't market it that way, that how you should market and sell it is as a growth partner, as a consultant, as an AI infrastructure. You're building the infrastructure. Think of it like this. You're basically rebuilding the entire infrastructure of their business to be AI native. That's how you position yourself. But someone's going to be like, no, I'm not just going to let you rebuild every aspect of my business right now. And that's why it's a 12-month relationship. Ideally, you have these client relationships where 12 months and they're paying you every month, because you're figuring out one part of their business every month to make more AI native, and you're training their team on it. Their team is adjusting. You're doing the same thing next month. And you just have this back and forth process month after month where their business is becoming more profitable, more scalable, more automated. Over time, more of their business is, they're achieving more and more revenue because more of their business is being run by AI infrastructure, which you are the specialist of and which you deliver on. And so if that was valuable to you, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I would highly recommend you start with the offer creation. Start with figuring out the pain points, the dream outcomes, and how do you package up your offer. And so inside of module 3 here, we have these different prompts which will help you identify the markets, identify the pain points. You just literally take and copy this entire prompt into Claude, and let me pull up Claude real quick. What you'll do is you'll take this prompt that is in the community, and so you'll take this prompt that's in the community, and you'll say, take this role. And then once you tell it to take this role, what will happen is it will go and it will say, all right, I am this AI strategist now. I'm going to help you develop and identify market problems for AI automation opportunities. You're going to go through this, and you're going to go through these market research, and the way that you develop these offers and find these markets is you use prompts like this, you use frameworks, and then you just have a dialogue and back and forth with Claude. And then by the end of it, you have your market, you have your offer, you have all these things. And so I hope that you found this video valuable. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.